All right, you guys ready?
Sure. 1 sec. I'm ready.
All right, 3, 2, 1, go. Top Voices Podcast, best podcast in the world, brought to you by Spearshot, aka Isa, and brought to you by me, Naayil, aka Naayil. And today we got a special guest, I think you can already see, and it's the good old AloisNL, aka Alois. The Mr. Fundamentals, Mr. Fundamentos. He has so many nicknames, you don't really know what to call him. How you doing, man?
I'm doing amazing. Thank you for having me. Thank you to both of you for having me. And yeah, I'm doing amazing. I had a very chill day, so I'm excited to see what we're going to be talking about.
Alois is our first star guest on the podcast. Obviously, as we said last episode, we are trying to get guests within the League of Legends scene onto the podcast that we can, maybe you don't know who Alois is, or maybe you do know him and you just want to see him chill with us. But yeah, number one is Alois, and I don't know, man. You want to say something about yourself?
Do you want to introduce yourself?
Shall
I introduce you a bit, Alois?
Sure. Yeah, like I'm Alois. I've been streaming for about and making content for about 1.5 years now. I play top lane predominantly, with my main champion being Riven. I've been a challenger player for the past 7 years now, and before I became a streamer, I did professional play for about 4 years, and now I make educational content creation, centered around the fundamentals, as has been introduced. That's pretty much it. Yeah.
Isa, what do you think of this guy? What do you think of this guy, Isa?
I think he's selling himself short a bit. I'm going to be honest. I think he is really... First of all, he's only been streaming for 1.5 years. If you were to tune into a stream today, you'd think he's the most professional streamer you've ever tuned into. Constantly talk to chat. He's energetic. I like it. He's educational. I learn something every time I tune into a stream, actually. And there's not much to say. He's a cool guy.
To be fair, I have to say...
If you do have time.
I have to say, Alois's growth is one of a kind. It was
incredible.
It was even crazier than my own. I think out of all three of us, I think Isa is the guy with the most streaming experience in terms of like how long you've been doing it. Mm-hmm. And then I think I come, and then I think Alois is like the quote unquote newest to the game, but he's like basically pretty much, if we're just talking about the stream, he's like basically in our leagues now after just such a short time of streaming, and that is pretty impressive.
He's done incredible.
And you found and Alois literally found his own niche with this fundamentals thing that he's preaching, which I do have some actual, how do you say, like I have some critic. Is it called critic or whatever it's called?
Critique. Yeah, criticism.
I have some criticism for that whole thing, anyways, but we'll get to that later.
Okay.
We'll get to that later.
I'm on edge now. I'm on edge, but sure, let's go.
You're on edge. Now, but like really, like if you're serious in terms of like your YouTube, your Twitch, like the way the amount of work you put in is actually very impressive, and yeah, good shit. Well done with all of that.
Thanks, man. Thank you.
Isa.
Yo, brother.
Have you played against this guy ever?
A few times, yeah. Korea, EU, played him here and there.
How it go? What's your record?
I don't know, Alois. How does it go usually? Actually,
I mean, it's you win the lane early as you're supposed to as Pantheon,
sometimes.
And then it's just a matter of whatever jungler shows up top first. I outskill, but at the early game, if you get in a good position, your jungler dives. I can't do much. Other than that, I feel like we go toe to toe, and then whoever gets the better jungler wins the game. That's how it goes.
It goes like a textbook matchup. I'll usually have Prio early. I'll usually have a CS lead early. I'll keep him off CS. Alois does something very nice. Like, I don't know how to describe it. He's very he's textbook with how he plays. There's no fancy flips. There's no crazy engages. It's just clever, and it's literally fundamentals. I swear.
It's safe,
I'm not even exaggerating. So it's just solid. You're not gonna catch him out with some fancy stuff. He's cautious for everything. He knows when enemy junk's hovering, and obviously he's playing Riven, so he's mobile as hell. So even if you try and gank, there's no way it's gonna work, bro. True. So he's really clever with everything. Everything's textbook, so you have to be textbook in order to play. But I'm okay. I can be a bit textbook. I'm a bit of a crackhead every now and then, but I'm textbook every now and then too.
Yeah, I think our win rate is also pretty even, 50-50. I think every time you win, it's because my jungler or my team did something stupid, and every time I win, it's basically the same.
Yeah, I feel like that's Elo, right?
Yeah, like when two top laners play like pretty by the book, then it gets to a team gap pretty quickly, I think.
Yeah, it's either team gap or champion diff, like in terms of scaling, but you can't really impact other than that. I feel like if both players know the matchup and we're all one tricks, then it's a matter of
we're all like 3 giga chats right here on top lane.
True.
Can't wait when we get the first ranged abuser in this podcast. I'm gonna interrogate that guy harder than the FBI, I swear to God, man. It's gonna be that was gonna be a wild episode once we get, like, I don't know, Drutut on here or some shit.
Yeah.
Honestly, let me, I don't even know why I haven't led with this. Let me, address the elephant in the room, and I think that's what most people wanna know about. What the fuck happened to your Twitch?
Oh, yeah, I mean, that's a super interesting story. Truth be told, I genuinely still don't know.
Explain to the people what happened a couple days ago.
Well, from my perspective, I was woken up by my brother at around 2 a.m. in Central European time, and it was like in slight panic because my Twitch account was randomly hacked. There was somebody streaming on my account with 20,000 view bots doing a giveaway, and the giveaway led to a scam link where people would try to steal Steam accounts. I wasn't the only streamer that had this attack. It was like not a targeted attack. There were like 5 or 6 other streamers from varying sizes that also were hacked and had the same issue. And the way that I got hacked is still unbeknownst to me. I'm very safe online. I don't click on links. I don't download random files, even with sponsorships, which is what happened to me before as well. So I tend to be very safe online. And what I think happened is when you log into Twitch, you can select the option to keep it signed in for 30 days. It remembers you. Mm-hmm. And I think somehow that cookie was stolen or like leaked. I still have no idea how, and that's how they were able to get into my account, because my account, of course, is secured with a password, but it also has 2 authenticator where I need to send the code from my authenticator app in order to log in. Right. They bypassed that.
How?
And then the only thing that I had to do was log in to my Steam account with 2 FA still on, change the password, change the stream key, and then the stream went offline. And nothing else has really happened. And then my Twitch account got banned because, of course, they violated so many rules with view botting and scam links. But I got it back the same day, thankfully, because I heard some horror stories about Twitch support, but they were very, very quick to assist me, luckily. And other than that, the biggest precaution I'm taking is never keeping my Twitch signed in. And I've changed the password. 2 authenticator codes was prioritized to send an SMS to my phone, but I also have it set to the app permanent now. That's pretty much it.
Wait, how is that possible though?
Have you not noticed? Have you not noticed that live, Issa, when that happened?
No, I didn't even know this
was a thing. It was very deep in the night. My viewers probably know I was streaming, and randomly in the middle of the night, my viewer count just spiked by a couple hundred. And it's a bunch of people telling me, look at Alois, look at Alois, look at Alois. I'm like, what the fuck? What do these stream hoppers want from me? What is Alois doing? Is Alois doing like a streamer ranking? Is he talking shit about me? Am I gonna start beef with this guy? What's going on with Alois? What's happening? And I go to his channel and I can't find it. There's a bunch of people streaming, wow. and I'm looking at the 1K viewer range, and I'm looking for Alois. I can't find him. Then I look to the very top with goddamn 25,000 viewers, wow. and a different profile picture. I'm like, damn, Alois did a brand change. He's I'm like, he's killing it when 25,000 viewers.
Whoa. Quick Dota stream actually.
That is insane.
And it was just a VOD. It was a VOD recording of a popular Dota streamer from North America while promoting a scam link in the chat, and the stream was purely botted, and even chat messages, which I didn't know was possible, were botted.
Wait, dude, that is terrifying.
Yeah, that is very terrifying. And the funny thing is that there were people who were warning and typing in, guys, Alois got hacked, don't click on the link, and they got banned.
Yep.
Wow.
You know Netherrim, right? The Thresh streamer guy with the deep voice? Yeah. Bro, I saw him follow. He typed something, the Alois got hacked. He got banned as well.
there were so many people. There was like 500 accounts banned.
Did you have to unban
manually
all?
unban.
Oh
Yes.
no.
So what he did is he logged in. Anything that you could access on Twitch with, like in Twitch, if you want to access payments or any certain histories, you have to like log in again, right? Or do like an actual layer of security.
Yeah.
I always hated doing that. I feel blessed doing that because it prevents them from getting further access. Anything he had access to though was like my panels, my bio, title. He removed all the mods. He removed all the VIPs. And banned basically anybody manually, I suppose, that came into my chat, said anything. So yeah, those were the measures.
So my question is then, if he didn't have your password, how did he actually get onto
that?
I
have no idea how that even.
I think I'm not the expert regarding anything like this, but apparently if you have the cookie and I have no idea how this works, but apparently if they have the cookie, they are allowed. They can basically just sign in through that and bypass the 2 authenticator.
Cookie, as in when you try and go on, let's say Nightbot, the website, you have to sign in with Twitch, right? Is that what you mean?
I don't. I mean, maybe actually, because Twitch, like if you go to Twitch right now, probably if you go to your Twitch right now, you type in Twitch, you're logged in instantly, right?
Yeah.
And that because you probably selected that Twitch remembers you on your computer. So yes, that is like a cookie in itself. I don't know how it works, but if they get access to that, they just log in themselves.
But how do they have access to that?
I have no idea.
See, on my stream, I just said, Alois must have clicked on something. Or I said my first thing was that you don't have 2-factor on.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
But apparently I don't know how that's possible, bro. These are some I don't think that was one guy. I think that was a group attack on just streamers, because I don't think that's possible.
Did it happen to multiple other streamers at the exact same time that you had it?
Yeah. I mean, I have some screenshots, but if you go to like streamers ban, the Twitch account, right? There were like 5 other streamers with the exact same profile picture that were permanently banned as well. And so yeah, it wasn't a targeted attack, and that's the scary part for me as well, because I genuinely I track all of my steps, but I can't recall doing anything out of routine or anything that could have led to this, right? So it was just completely out of nowhere, which is also scary in a sense because it could happen again. But I've tried to take all measures. So yeah, my recommendation would also be to not stay signed in on Twitch and just take the extra step to log in every day.
You know what? I'm gonna pretend that I'm gonna do that just so I don't get hacked, but I don't have time for that, dude.
I know what you mean.
I don't have time for that, bro.
My strategy would be to just always stream at night, so they can't you're gonna be awake if they try to hack you.
That's the thing as well. They legit went online, I think 5 to 10 minutes after I went to sleep.
Wow.
So I don't know if they were like able to check on like when I was still online.
They probably could have they probably had information if you were online or offline.
So they only had that running for 5 to 10 minutes, Alois?
No, bro, I was asleep. Like I fell asleep.
The stream was going for like 3 hours easily.
Wow.
It was 2 hours. 2 hours.
Yeah.
Good part is it was still running ads. That's the good part, right?
You must have made bang.
No, I didn't.
Botted viewers don't count.
I played 2 ads. That's the funny part. No, but what happened is I was asleep, so I was receiving but I always have phone notifications off right when I go to sleep, and so I was called by so many people, all these messages, but nothing reached me. And then one of my IRL buddies that lives at like the other side of the city, he came to my house, he woke up my family, and then my brother woke me up, and then it was a banger.
That friend's a real
some crazy
that guy's
shit.
the goat. That guy's the goat. His sleeping schedule is so bad, but it saved me.
Why is he even awake at that time? I think that was on a random Wednesday or some shit. Like he just awake.
Yeah, no, that guy's in
banging on your door.
Yeah. A banger sleeping schedule by him.
That's why you need a friend like that with messed up sleep schedule.
Legit.
He doesn't work.
He'll save your life.
He just does nothing, bro.
Hey,
you need a friend like that.
Yeah.
Bro, I don't know what I would do if my account got hacked.
It was stressful for sure, because it's like you get the perspective of like you've worked for this, I mean, all this time now, and then like this, it's gone, right? And you're scared of having permanent repercussions of whatever happened.
But actually, W to the Twitch support that they actually unbanned you.
That's true.
I thought you were gonna be banned for like 2 weeks until they did anything.
Same.
But
Same.
they responded.
I was considering like, oh, do I start streaming on YouTube? Because of course, when you're banned on Twitch, you're not allowed to make a second account or anything like this. So it's like, okay, is it YouTube streams now or what are my options? But it was like really fast. Luckily.
Dude, that must have been so stressful. I don't think a lot of people know how stressful it is.
For a streamer, that is the peak anxiety levels.
It's not just your livelihood, but it's everything you've built up until this point. So, Alois, you've been streaming for what, 1.5 years?
Yeah, year and a half.
So it's a year and a half of just hard work, building up a community, building up viewership, building some followers. Like, it must be so stressful, bro.
I get anxiety when my video is demonetized, bro. Like, I don't even know. I don't even know what the fuck I'm doing, like, if that happened.
Oh,
in the back of my mind, I wasn't super scared. It was just like two things, right? I mean, it happened, but I was like, if I actually get permanent suspension from this, I think so many people will be upset, right? Because it was kind of out of my control in the first place. So I felt safe in that regard. I don't think like if I got banned, it would have really sit well in general. And then the second part for me was this most stressful part, of course, is how did this happen and how could I prevent it for the future? So what I've done is I've went to every single thing that I have online and I've changed my passwords manually, written down all the, like, how do you call this? The codes to like get the backup codes. That's what it's called. On everything, and I've just written everything out on every single platform until I felt like, okay, everything is changed. Everything should be secured. Everything has to FA, even on sites that I don't use that much. I just consider, okay, I lock out any opportunity of this happening in the future. Although I did have 2FA, of course, on Twitch. But now I feel safe with that, and I just log in manually. Like my Steam, for example, I would just always keep logged out and always log in manually. My Twitch, the same. Some social media is the same. So yeah, that's the like extra step that I'm taking right now to just make sure this can't happen again.
No, that's good to know, though. That's really good to know. Like, they don't even need your password anymore. They just log in anyway somehow. Bypass the two-factor, which is insane, bro.
Yeah.
Now, Alois, I need to ask you. Wait, how old are you right now, Alois?
I just turned 23 years old.
23, okay. So he's older than you, Naayil, but he's 1 year younger than me.
He's like right between us, quite literally.
Perfect.
So you're 2001.
Yes.
I'm 2002.
I'm 1999.
God damn!
Old, man.
God damn!
I feel like I'm an antique. What are you doing?
You know, me and Alois were born when there was color invented. He says shit.
Okay, so Alois, I need to ask you then. Why did you choose streaming to get into? Okay, and was it always your first choice? I just want to hear the backstory behind it.
Okay, so going all the way back for me, I was in school. Dutch school system is a bit weird. It's like in levels, and if you like, depending on the level you do, you can either go to university with the highest level, and like middle level you go to like a grade below university. And I was just playing League as a hobby, and I was doing the highest level, and I was in my last year of a total of 6. And during that year, COVID was kind of on the rise, and I was lacking in 2 subjects, and so I kind of made the conscious decision to quit school, and I said to myself, I'll give myself 1.5 years to try and pursue a career in League of Legends, which is what I was already doing semi-professional at the time. So I was playing in a Dutch league team, and I said to myself, right, I'll give myself 1.5 year worth of time, because that's the time I would have required to finish school. And I'll try to pursue something with gaming, because I had no idea what I would have wanted to do afterwards. Like, I was considering becoming a veterinarian, but the subject that I needed to be good at was chemistry, which was my worst one. So I just had no idea of what I wanted to do for the future. So I jumped into this. And then I quit school and I started streaming and playing in the Dutch league team that I was playing in. So I was kind of doing both at once. And this is like the end of 2019, I believe. Yeah, end 2019. And streaming was actually pretty good. It was season 8. I remember like 1 month into that, I got rated once by No Way For You at the time. So that was like really, really massive when I just started streaming. And I was doing a lot with Yamato's Death, because I was like friends with him from solo queue. So I was doing with him, and it was doing like pretty all right. I just was playing Riven season 8. It was nice. And then it kind of we won the Dutch league, and I was doing the professional team at the site. So I would just wake up, I would do one stream, I play scrims, and then I'd stream again. That was kind of my day-to-day schedule. And then we won the Dutch league, which meant we qualified for the EU Masters. So just, if you don't know what that is, it's like the below LEC. That's like the European tournament that you can play, and if you qualify for it from the national leagues.
It's above Division 1, right?
Yes. So basically, all national leagues, Division 1 national leagues, qualify the top teams from each national league goes to the EU Masters. That's how it works. So EU Masters is like the highest tournament you can play on a national league.
Okay.
And then because we were the Dutch league, which is a very small league compared to other leagues, we went to the play-ins, and it was really good for us. We made it out. We beat the Mad Lions team, for example, and another team which was not expected, and that kind of like gave me a good runway. And then we qualified for the EU Masters. We went 0-6, was absolute shit fest. But from there, I basically from that tournament I got a lot of options, and I went to SK Gaming because it was like my best option, because back then, like I said, Corona had started, so I was a professional player then. I'm kind of going over this, but I had to choose either continue streaming or go for professional play. But there I made the decision to pursue professional play over streaming because I thought it would be my best path of choice. If I go back, I would, of course, do that decision. But back then, with the information I had, I thought professional career would be the best. So I went to SK Gaming, and no, I did that for about 2.5 years was my contract. I'm gonna go over a lot of stuff here, but all in all, the experience as a professional player was very bad. To name a few things, there's a lot of good things, right? Ultimately, you're playing a game professionally, which is a dream. You're making money playing the game you love. You're in a good environment. You're in a competitive scene. That is all good parts. But the negative sides of professional play is that you are completely reliant on your surrounding for your own career, in the sense that you as an individual have about 10-15% impact on the eventual outcome of a split or of a year. So if you're in a team with 4 different players, a coach, manager, and all this stuff, if you're lucky, you're going to be in a very good environment. And then if you're not that lucky, I mean, it's going to be pretty shit. I would say the esports scene in general in SK is extremely good. SK is a really good organization, but there's also a lot of shitty organizations, right, with players getting scammed, so much stuff going on. I didn't have to deal with any of that, but I did have a lot of teammates that were questionable. They had personal issues, stuff like this. So it's like how 3 out of my 5 splits felt like for me is I was like sitting in a boat, and there was like 3 to 4 people rowing in one direction, and one person was complete grieving going into the other direction because he had personal issues or there was other stuff in his life going on. And so for me, at the end of my contract with SK, it was like I'm either gonna go for a new path in professional play. I had plenty of options in that regard too, or I will try and basically go back to streaming, work for myself, be totally reliant on myself as well, in the sense that the amount of effort and work that I put in is also the result that I will see, and which motivated me a lot. And that's what I went for. This is everything kind of summarized in a nutshell. There's a lot more personal choices in that involved too. To name one, for example, during COVID, my family or part of my family lives in Hungary. My life is in the Netherlands with like my friends.
Sorry about
another
that.
and another part of the family. And then my work was in Germany in SK, and then my girlfriend lived in Belgium. So it was really hard to manage all of that stuff in general. And there's some more personal reasons as to why I quit professional play, but that's gonna go like super in depth, so also good. But yeah, the main reason for me was to be able to kind of rely on myself and not be having so many outside factors kind of deciding my career.
So you joined SK Gaming in when? 2019 or nearing the end of 2019?
Summer 2020.
Summer 2020. And how long were you in SK for?
2.5 years.
2.5 years. Damn. So you ended at about what? 2023?
Winter 2022, which is when I started streaming as well. So that's like up until now is 1.5 years.
I mean, people that know me and watch me on a regular basis know that I have a huge passion for hating pro play and hating pro players, quote unquote pro players. I've been playing so much high elo solo queue, And I have met, because you just mentioned, for example, SK Gaming, or Beta said, like the Dutch league you played before SK Gaming, that smaller league, that technically you're considered a pro player, right? And you mentioned yourself that you've had problematic teammates with behavioral issues and whatever. And it's very hard for me to respect these types of pro players. For example, I have huge respect and I have recognition for anyone that plays in the LEC. 100%. Simply because of the fact, like, if we are like just superficial, these guys make up to 50K a month, right? So obviously these guys are financially successful, and people on the LEC, with very few exceptions, generally are professional performers. That, of course, they are not robots. They will also have these moments that where your behavior could be in a bad light, but they are actual professionals in the terms of they publicly carry themselves as a professional would, and how a professional should. So I think the people in the LEC are, I think, very good examples of how League of Legends players should be. Because in my opinion, that's what a pro player is supposed to represent. The ideal League of Legends player in every dimension, whether it be his mental, his gameplay, whatever. For me, that's what a pro player is supposed to represent. I'm a streamer, Isa is a streamer. Isa can be a dickhead, I can be a dickhead. We are not supposed to show any benchmark of how a gamer should be. Professionality, exactly. We're one trick solo queue.
You think so, though?
I would say so, yeah. We don't because when you play on a stage, and I also believe that pro players, especially ones with big viewership like LEC or, for example, the LCK, if they show behavioral issues, and also because these players are very close to Riot Games, these teams and stuff get partially paid by Riot, because me and Isa aren't really close to Riot at all. We're just customers like everybody else. Now, okay, of course, you can see the responsibility as a streamer, or I have a viewer base, blah blah blah. But I don't think there is a obligation for you.
Yeah, there's no obligation to Riot as a streamer. There's an obligation to the viewer base.
Yeah,
and I've got an obligation as a, let's say, someone who's online, a public figure. Let's say that's what my obligation is. I don't have an obligation to Riot themselves. Me and Naayil aren't even Riot partners.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah.
And my point real quick that I was trying to get to is to go back, like, these smaller leagues where you are filled with, first of all, in my opinion, not that good players. And second of all, they're like, I don't know if it's the ego or whatever it is, but they have huge behavioral issues. The way they talk in game, in solo queue, these types of people, they want to give up immediately. They like to talk shit or whatever you want to call it, and just they are not pleasant human beings, which I'm not complaining about. It's League of Legends, but I feel like the title of a pro player has lost a lot of its value over the last years with all of these leagues coming onto the scene.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I also don't think they are really considered pro players, though.
I like to call them amateur players.
Yeah,
go on.
I think that's a fair statement. I even think if you'd ask them, they wouldn't refer to themselves as professional players. If you play in, I mean, there is some ERL leagues, right? So national leagues that are pretty prestige. You have the LFL.
Yeah.
It's really good. Spanish, Prime, Turkish league, they're all pretty good. And then some leagues, depending on, like, they might have one or two really good teams, right? But even those, I mean, I never considered myself like a real professional player. I was an amateur player in that regard too. So I think it's a matter of also being conscious. But then again, and this is also on your statement, all those ERL players also kind of have no direct, I mean, actually they do have some direct obligation to Riot Games, right? You get a behavioral check as a professional or amateur player, but that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I don't know. I have made, like, for me, like, regular solo queue players or streamers, in terms of in-game behavior, because I don't really type in-game or talk in-game or run it down. I don't do that. I do my stuff on stream, but that's none of their business. I feel like some behavior these players show in-game is just...
It's very annoying.
It's annoying, in my opinion.
It's unacceptable. I 100% agree. Like, the the entire environment in solo queue has just gone down drastically. I 100% agree.
But yeah, so how would you like, let me give you an example. If you could choose, because I know your stream size, I know your YouTube size, I know like approximately how successful you are in terms of, let's say, financial. If you could say that, hypothetical, all right, this isn't even true. If you, let's say, have the choice of making the same livelihood as a pro player as you do as a streamer. So let's say you could choose to join your desired pro league or whatever you want to do, or like get the equivalent of that success as a streamer. Which one would you choose?
Streamer, always.
Really?
I agree.
Yeah.
I would agree. I totally
Is
agree.
it because you enjoy it? Is it because there's more freedom? What's the reasoning?
There's so many reasons, and again, it ties in with personal reasons too. I want to be able to have the ability to schedule my own day, which is really important, right? I want to have that one off day in the week. That is super important to me always. And yeah, it's the freedom of being able to decide my own content. I'm not tied to anything. I can't be like, first of all, there's no environment that is dependent on me, but also, and the other part, there is I'm not how do you call it, dependent on my environment either, which is something that over the period that I've seen is really good, because the stereotypical gamer, right? I mean, there is a stereotype with gamers.
Yeah.
But the stuff that I've seen over those 2.5 years have kind of given me the confirmation that, you know, I'd rather be dependent on myself than be dependent on like in an environment like that. And whilst I've had insanely good teammates and I've had super nice teammates, there have also been outliers, and it just takes one, you know, type of basically one personality or one person can kind of ruin everything in that regard. And I think also the biggest factor is the freedom, right? I'm literally able to do this from my room. I don't have to travel so much. It's a lot less stressful. So yeah, I prefer this lifestyle over professional career tenfold, 100%.
I love being a streamer, man. I love it.
Nice.
It's a blessing. It's such a blessing.
Like, it's very, very cool. And like you said, you're fully, like, you cannot get ran down by a teammate and now your stream is bad. Like, even if your game performance is bad, or if you're having a bad day in terms of the game, you still direct your own stream, and you still try to, you can either, like, maybe you have a bad day and you don't care about the stream, so you end the stream a bit early, or the quality of the stream was a bit bad, so you can't really use the content of that stream, and maybe it was all a bit bad, blah blah blah. But maybe the next day you feel better about it. And even if the next day is also a bad gaming day, you could maybe make the stream somewhat enjoyable as well for your viewers and grow and have something like positive out of it. Like, it's much easier to overcome hardship as a streamer than it is as a pro player. Now, the good thing about pro play is, like, in terms of, like, let's see it from a whole marketing point. The only good thing that, in my opinion, you can get from pro play is that if you really make it in pro play and you get to LEC, the marketing is almost limitless, because then you can, like, perfect example I like to use is Jankos. Look at Jankos. Jankos was on top of the pro game for years on years on years on end. And Jankos had just a genius of taking that LEC stage for his own good. He grew his Twitter following. He grew his stream because of that. And he used that LEC stage to make his name much more known and much faster known in the League of Legends world. And even if he now is getting older and maybe now he isn't in the LEC anymore, he's still in a good team. But even if he's not, like, that prominent, and even if his pro career goes to an end very soon, for example, he will still be fine, because the LEC stage and the world stage and everything he has done has given him like something like his pension. He got his pension in from pro play, and he chose that, you know, he did, quote unquote, he had much less work in terms of marketing than what we have, because him being such a prominent pro player basically did it all for him.
Yeah, but I think
he's still a very I'm not trying to flame him. He's still a he's a very entertaining person, regardless. But I'm just saying that being a pro player did help a lot. I am very sure.
100%.
No, but here's the thing, right? So you use Jankos as an example, but how many other examples are there of pro players who transitioned into streamers? Let's say from EU.
Broxa is a good one.
Brox is a really good one.
I would say
Broxa is the first that came to mind.
But there's so many pros. There's so many. Obviously, there's not hundreds, but there's a lot of LEC players, and there's a lot of people that make it to Worlds from Europe. So there's a lot of eyes on a lot of players, but a lot of them don't choose to stream.
Or they also don't have social media like that. Like
they don't care about growing the social media.
I think they're either oblivious to the fact that this is their opportunity to grow, or they are just maybe anxious about it. Because otherwise, I don't see any reason why. Like, it's either ignorance or they're scared of it.
I mean, I can tie into this. One thing you have to consider is that being a professional player is a career on its own, and
that is true.
So if you're a professional player, you're playing scrims at least like 6 times, depending on a team. I don't know what average team culture is, 6 times, 7 times a week. And just that scrim alone is like maybe 4 to 5 hours, depending on the amount of games that you play. Maybe some teams will do multiple blocks in a day. And that alone is already, depending, of course, on your own inputs, very tiring mentally. And takes a huge portion of your day, right? Which is like 5-6 hours, which is what you could consider a stream already. And now this is also what I find so exceptional, but also impressive about Jankos, is that he's able to stream consistently whilst being a professional player on the highest level. And I think juggling those both is extremely hard, because that would take in your entire day. Like, he doesn't have the opportunity to do anything outside of that, which is why I think it is not that accessible for so many professional players. Myself, it was not really possible for me easily to juggle both playing scrims and focusing on solo queue, practicing other champions, doing whatever practice was required, and then also streaming or having that side of your career as well, right? I couldn't really juggle doing both streaming and professional play at once. And I think this is the case for a lot of professional players. And that's also why I think it's so impressive for Jankos to be able to have done so over the past years.
Shout out Jankos. Maybe we'll get him on the podcast as well one time. Maybe we'll get him on the podcast as well. I would love him. I love Jankos to death. I love him. I really like him.
I think everyone likes Jankos.
I love him. Like, he's not fake. He also gets tilted. He gets pissed. He also insults people. He has beef with Red IRL and all types of stuff. But at the end of the day, he's a very nice guy, and I enjoy it. I enjoy watching him every now and then, and I like him a lot. I do like him.
Like, Jankos is... Do you know how we discussed that one time in our podcast? We said there's league players and there's entertainers.
Yeah.
Jankos is actually both.
He's both, yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. For example, Broxa, Broxa is also a streamer, like a pro player turned streamer, but Broxa isn't like an entertainer. He's more of a
league player.
He's like a stoic league player that's trying to have a pleasant experience for his viewers. He Jankos is genuinely. He's like a goofy guy that just is really good at the game.
He's a super likable, fun character.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Good shit, man. Yeah, man.
Go on, then Naayil. Carry us on to the next point. Go on.
So, have you mentioned, Alois, where you're from? I mean, obviously, your username might spoil it a bit.
Yeah, I'm from the Netherlands. I mean, I did say my family lives in the Netherlands, but yeah, I am from the Netherlands. I am 100% Dutch.
So how was life growing up in the Netherlands? Because, if you guys don't know, I am from the good old country of mountains, Austria. Isa is from the good old sword fighting country, London. and Alois is actually right in between us.
That's
the Netherlands. How is it in the Netherlands? I've never went to, do you say Holland? Because in German, we call it Holland.
No, Dutch people would say Nederland.
Oh, okay. See, in Austria and Germany, there's either Niederlande, that's the German
Niederlande,
way, right?
That's the good one.
But we also say Holland, although Holland isn't a accepted term nowadays.
Why?
No.
I don't know why.
I can explain it. Holland is a part of the Netherlands, so there's 12 provinces, and out of those 12, 2 are called South Holland and the northern part of Holland. So if you refer to Holland, you kind of refer to those 2 provinces. I mean, what can I say about the Netherlands? Yeah,
how is life? How is it?
I mean, I live pretty central. It's nice. I mean, do you just want to like understand my living environment, my
Yeah,
upbringing,
like did
or
you
what
grow up
exactly?
in the city, or is like I've no idea about Holland. Is it like a or Netherlands? Is it a rural area? Because I live in the bumfuck of nowhere, and about 99% of Austria is just nowhere. Like with small towns up to maybe 2,000 people or 5. Like in my town where I live, it's 2,000 people, right? And it's tiny, and it's like all these little spots of towns right next to each other, and that's kind of where I live. And of course, you have Vienna and those bigger cities, but it's 90% just small villages and towns. How is Netherlands? Because, for example, London or England or the UK doesn't really have that. It's just like either nothing or just very big cities. Of course, there's probably some rural areas, but
there's a few towns, but yeah, it's
yeah,
mainly cities.
but
yeah,
it's pretty. And even the towns are like probably 5 times the size of an average town in Austria. So yeah, like what was it like? Like was it like?
I mean, I lived in the southern part of the Netherlands first when I was like a kid, and that was more of like a town or like village type of area, which wasn't too crowded. Um, but that was like for the first 10 years of my life. Then we moved to the northern part, so I live 20 minutes away from Amsterdam right now. So it's super central.
That's
I think there's
sick.
like 170,000 people in the city where I live, so it's super crowded. And yeah, I basically have lived here for ever since then. So my biggest point of reference is also just super crowded city. But I like it. It's very central. Like I just walk 5 minutes. I'm in a train station. Walk 5 minutes opposite direction. I'm in the city. So yeah, it's very nice. But yeah, I don't know what else to say about
How
the Netherlands.
how far away from Rotterdam are you?
It's like 40, 50 minutes by train, probably.
How do you pronounce it, by the way? You as a Dutch person. No, shut up, Isa. You as a Dutch person, how would you say that?
Rotterdam.
Rotterdam.
I was close.
Yeah.
Okay. No, because
say
I'm asking because TwitchCon is in Rotterdam this
Oh,
year.
true.
Are you
Are
going?
you guys going? Well, that's the thing, right?
I'm dragging Isa to go there. I'm dragging his ass. We're going.
It's not my kind of environment, Naayil, dude.
I'll say
I
it
might
again.
go.
He went to Paris TwitchCon, but he went by himself. So he had a bad experience because he went by himself. He told me
it wasn't a bad experience. It honestly
Isa,
wasn't a bad experience.
you told me
at
the
all.
story. All I say is pizza. It was
Dude,
bad. It was bad, Isa.
It wasn't bad, right? I met Dantes, I met Dratut, I met Potent, I met a few streamers. It wasn't a bad experience. It's just not my kind of environment. You understand what I'm saying?
What is your kind of environment? What does that even
Although it's
mean?
not a bad environment, it's just not my kind of environment. I'm very introverted. Do you know what I mean? Like,
shut up, man.
seriously, bro. Seriously, like, I like keep it to myself. I like it.
You were
I'm
just
comfortable
awkward
like
because
that.
you didn't have anyone to bounce off of, and with me together, it'll be fun.
And
We'll
there was
go.
also the fact that like I wasn't sleeping much when I got there. I don't know what happened. I just couldn't sleep. I don't know if it was the travel. I don't know what it was, but I don't know, bro.
Come on,
We'll
man.
see. I might go to the Twitch
We'll
one.
go. We'll go, dude. We'll go.
Maybe.
We'll meet up with Alois. It'll be sick.
For me, it depends. If I'm going to be in Korea at that time, then of course I can't go because
It's 29th
gonna be-
to 30th June that weekend. I don't know.
yeah. And so season 2 resets at May 14th right now, right? So that would be like 6 weeks later. So depending on how long my stay in Korea would be, if I go, then it could be tricky. But if not, I'm 100% going to TwitchCon for
So
sure.
you, oh yeah, right.
Okay.
That would be the Korea trip. Basically, like that's what happened last season, right? We went to Korea when
Yeah.
the ranked reset. I
Yeah.
get it. I don't know, man. Korea trip 2.0. I would be totally down.
Yeah.
I would be totally down. That was sick. And like, I think going a second time for me and Spearshot. And how many times did you go, Alois?
That was my first time.
Right, like it was all of our first time, and it was kind of it was like we were all like kind of, how do you say it, like we had to get used to it and like actually know what it's like to be there. And now since we actually know what it's like to be there, then I think if we go a second time, we will be much more comfortable in how we go at it. You know what I mean? So I think the second if we do a Korea arc 2.0, I think it would be a very good idea. Now, it's a bit early. It's only March to determine if it's gonna happen, but I would totally go. I would go.
Okay, Alois, I need to ask this question because we skipped over it a second ago. So you said you were in your last year of university, right?
Yeah, no, never university. In my middle school still. I was still like in high school.
Oh, wait,
never
so
went
you're
to
in your last
university.
year of high school?
Yes, I have no diploma. I've went all in on this.
You're a Gangster, dude.
Bro, me neither. I just have a high school degree. I don't have a, you know.
I don't have that either, bro.
No,
Wait, what? You don't have a high school degree?
No, like I
he's
said,
a Giga Chad.
I
He doesn't need
quit
it.
in my last year of high school because, like, the Dutch school system is also really shit right now in terms of how you like. You're gonna get like student loans as well with the financial situation that like my surrounding is in. And so for me, as I had no direction of what type of follow-up education I wanted to do or what I wanted to do in university, I just said, you know what, I'm gonna quit school because it would take me another 1.5 years to finish school, right? Because I had to redo 2 subjects that I was behind on. And I said, all right, I give myself 1.5 years to try and pursue this. If it works, perfect. If it doesn't work, I'll go back to school and I'll find something to do.
So this
And,
was after your pro thing, right? So
no, before.
you said I'm gonna give myself 1.5 years, and then you became a pro.
Yes.
And it didn't work out, and then he became a streamer.
Well,
So
I
now I
worked
need to-
out.
Well,
but I quit.
you didn't care about it anymore, and you
Exactly.
you
I
became a
quit.
streamer.
And then,
How did your
yes.
parents react to that?
That's exactly what I was gonna ask.
Because for me, I was streaming while I was still in school, so that whole phase where I had no income was like a couple of months into like being a student and just streaming as a hobby after school for a couple of hours, and I built my community like that. And then when I finished school, I actually had a sizable enough audience to actually pursue it full time. So I instead of, because I have the degree to go to university, but instead of going to the university, I was like, well, let me just stream and let me just take a break and continue. And then it worked out. And then like when I told my parents about streaming, I already made a decent amount of money where they were like, oh yeah, sure, keep going, you know. But for you, it must have been pretty like risky for your like for your parents to actually see the value in, like, especially as a pro player, which is even worse than being a streamer in terms of like, how did they react?
I mean, so I have I live with my mom and then a stepfather. So there's that. So it was mainly I mean, I had to convince both in that regard. But my stepfather, I have it's a chill connection with. He's American, so he's super education focused, and he really wants me to pursue.
Oh yeah, I remember you told me that.
So he's very centered around following education, but he's like, you know, if you want to do what you want to do, you should do what you want to do. My mom, I had to convince a lot more. So like I said, I was already doing semi-professional playing in the Dutch league. That was earning me around 500 euros a month. So
basically nothing.
I mean, yeah, it's not, you can't live with that in the Netherlands.
Yeah.
It's you just get groceries with that. But yeah, so I just told my mom that I'll give myself 1.5 year, and if that doesn't work until then, I'll go back to school. And it was my own decision. Now she was against it for sure. She wanted me to pursue or at least finish my diploma and then make a different decision, because that was the most sensible thing to do. But I told her I don't want to wait another 1.5 years. I want to do it right now. And if it doesn't work, I'll go back. And I mean, I kind of convinced her through that. And just saying that I'll do it through my, you know, she allowed me to make my own choice in that. And that's basically how it went.
I like that. That's respect. You know, some parents are really controlling, and some parents just cannot see anything other than what they envisioned for their child, and they just try to like, I don't want to say crush, but like just not take any risk. And I think especially in your younger 20s, I think if you take 1 or 2 or even 3 years of a quote unquote break to just try something that you really believe in, even if it fails, when you're on your deathbed, you cannot say, damn, I should have maybe tried that. You know what I mean? So people always tell me, well, what are you gonna do? Like, especially when I have like, whenever I have like an egomaniac episode, people are gonna be like, well, what are you gonna do when this whole streaming thing is over? I'm like, then I don't know. I have no idea. But but do I have to know what we do? I don't think we do have to know. I think we just do what we love, and as long as it works out, it works out. And when it doesn't work out, we'll look for the next thing that we can do. It's about enjoying your life as it is right now, instead of trying. That's my opinion, by the way. Everyone is different. Every country is different. Every culture is different. But for me, it's about having the most comfortable and enjoyable life as I can right now.
I mean, let's say hypothetically, you become 30, yeah, Naayil?
Yeah.
And now Leagues died as a game. It's done. Okay?
I was praying for it. I was praying for it.
Leagues died, and somehow you haven't been able to translate the stream into anything. You're done with streaming.
Yeah.
Are you really going to look back at those, let's say, 10 years and be like, man, that was a waste?
No.
No way,
No
dude.
way.
No way. It's not
I spent
feasible.
my 20s making more money than the average person playing a computer game, making cock and ball jokes 8 hours a day. That is like, I think that, like, that is unironically, I think, the dream of every single teenage boy. There is
It's one
no,
of, sure.
bro, I think every teenage boy has the dream, or at least the fantasy one time, to make money playing a game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I see what you mean.
There is no way that I as a child I watched YouTube videos like old KSI, and I always dreamed of doing that what they do, and it was a huge coincidence that I turned out to be a streamer as well by myself. But yeah, like we really like have many people's dream jobs in quotes, because I don't even see it as a job. I just see me being lazy and getting paid for it. You know?
True. That's what you mean. What were you gonna say, Alois?
No, I agree that it's an extremely privileged position to be in, 100%. And I think it also, I mean, I do see it as a job, of course, but like streaming in itself is really chill. But then it also for me, it's like kind of what you do on the side, right? How many videos you're like recording for YouTube, or if you're doing coaching, or what else you're doing like besides the streaming on that part. But no, I 100% agree. It's by far the most like the. I mean, what better job is there than this, other than like, I don't know, tasting food for money or some like weird food critic or something like this? This is
kinds of passions, right? So maybe someone wants to become a footballer, but I think streaming is definitely it's a sought after like job.
100%.
That's why you see so many streamers on every single game. There's like thousands of league streamers, probably more. There's probably tens of thousands of people that have streamed league. You know, like it's a very saturated market.
It's very
it's good. It's good. We're blessed.
We're blessed. We're absolutely blessed. I agree.
100%.
Yeah, man. I mean, what else we got going?
Bro, I have this question now. Yeah, what are those criticisms or the critique that I have done?
Right.
It's still in the back of my mind, man.
So here's the thing, man. So you have based your content mostly, if I can say that, around making educational coaching content, correct?
For the latter half year of my content, yes. Before that, no. So after Korea, I transitioned more to like full educational content. Before that, it was all educational content from high elo.
But you would agree that people mostly know you as the fundamentals guy.
Yes.
Fundamentals, yes. People know you for that, and they try to learn from you when they watch you.
Yes.
I would say that is a fair point. And I have basically just one criticism, I guess, about that. But the thing that like makes me not like it is the fact that you smurf so much. You know?
That's a very fair statement.
I have talked to Isa about this already, and I have also talked about it on stream. And me, as a League player, I don't get why anyone that's high elo, because you're an amazing player, I've never said that you were bad at all, but I don't see the educational value in you, one of the best top laners on the server, going into little Timmy's high school game. Like, he just came home from school. All he wanted to do was try out his new champion he just bought yesterday. You know, just try. Oh, this Darius champion looks pretty cool. Let me pick him. And then he queues up in Emerald, and he sees the absolute demon account Alois with a 97% win rate, about to freeze the wave for the next 26 minutes. And just absolutely like take him out of this world. I don't see. So now I know that you as a player have the skill, but I don't see the educational value to the viewer when you do that.
Okay, so I mean, there is multiple perspectives like onto that, right? And I'll start it off with me agreeing with your statement that it's like, I mean, you could put it as like unethical or like bad for me ruining people's games, right, on that account. And that is something that I agree with. But the most important takeaway for that for me on the first place is that I firmly believe that I'm helping more people doing the content that I do than I would like ruin games from as like a comparison in that, right? So whilst one thing doesn't excuse the other, there is that. Now, as or trying to do educational streaming, it is super hard to do educational streaming in, let's say, Grandmaster or Challenger MMR, because I cannot focus on trying to explain every move that I do whilst having to focus it on doing so being in a Challenger game. If I'm playing in a Challenger game, multiple things that happen, right? First things first is I mean, before diving into that, let's compare playing in lower MMR to higher MMR first, right? So if I were to stream in higher MMR, there are so many factors that make my content less appealing in general if you're doing educational centered content. First thing first is Riven, right? Is my main champion, which is the champion that I would play mostly because I'm most proficient at, kind of falls away, or educational value falls away if I only were to play Riven. So there's one thing, right? I can play other champions on higher level, but not on super high challenger level. I'm well aware of that. Then the second thing is you're gonna need either map cover or stream delay on your
that is true. That is
delay on your stream.
That is a good point, actually.
It's a very good point.
And that would already ruin the streaming and like, let's say, the streaming quality, right?
Yeah.
Stream experience. So map cover kind of isn't an option for me because then I can't use that content for YouTube. So I have to go for stream delay. That's the only option. Third one then is target bans, which happens very frequently.
Yeah.
And then, of course, it's also the fact that streaming high elo right now, in my opinion, is very redundant. There's so many like kind of low quality games. Matchmaking is very shit. And even though like the games there aren't super educational because it is so detailed. Like one tiny mistake that the average MMR player will not even understand. Like one trade leads into you losing the entire game, or like one clear by your jungler leads into you not being a spectator for the next 15 minutes.
Literally.
But it's super hard to put this in perspective for the average viewers. So, and that's the last point I'm going to. It is very hard for me, right, to try and focus on explaining my steps whilst having to focus on actually playing the game. Because if I play on or against players of equal skill or even better than me, right, it's super hard to try and educate my viewers on what I'm doing. It is possible. It's what I did for the first 5-6 months or even a bit more. I did it up until Korea. I was playing high elo only and trying to be educational there, and also only on Riven. But then for me, what changed it was, so of course the benefit of playing a lower MMR is I don't need map cover and I do not need like a stream delay, right? So it's already better for engaging with my community. I can play as many champions as I want and have that extra factor. And basically all the stuff that I mentioned before doesn't count, right? It's easier to focus on pure explanation or explaining my thoughts instead of having to hyper focus on the game itself. So it opens up to me being more educational in general. I am very well aware that I'm running games for certain people, right? I'm more aware of that fact, but I think the added benefits to it is what makes it good. And then another question is, what is your job as a content creator, right? In my opinion, it is at the end of the day to try and entertain as many people, but also try to grow your size. For me, it doesn't make sense as an educational content creator to only play Riven, whilst there's also going to be Renekton players that want to learn how to play their champion and apply those basics or those concepts that I'm doing the champions, right? Or Gangplank players or Shen players or anything like that. So for kind of the content idea or the content that I'm doing, it makes sense for me to do what I'm currently doing. That's, I think, everything kind of summarized.
Valid points, absolutely. I just, when I say that, I always look at the lens of my own improvement history. Because when I use my own experience in terms of how I improved at the game, the most I improved playing this game was like 3 years ago when I was watching Chinese Aatrox players or Korean VODs. That I used to do that quite frequently. I don't do that anymore that much. But I used to watch a lot of Chinese VODs and a lot of Korean VODs. I don't speak Korean and I don't speak Chinese. And I genuinely just watched high elo MMR games of these Aatrox players. And I just literally watched those games and I just learned by watching them play in high MMR because I know what a high level game looks like and how you're supposed to play it. Now, for example, right now, if you go to like Zhao Xiaomeng or Zhao Ming, which are very high skilled Aatrox players, if you go to their streams, they smurf a lot. They play a lot in low elo. And when I watch a VOD where he plays Aatrox against something ridiculous like Nasus, there is no value in me watching that because this even, yeah, it's sure it's in China, but it's still in Emerald or Plat, and a Chinese Plat guy isn't so much more amazing than a European Plat guy. Nasus is still gonna walk up to Q, the minion level 1, and then he's gonna eat a full combo, and then he's gonna be bullied out of the lane, and then like there's nothing I can learn from that. So I think like that the value you get from a high elo game and watching it is higher if you know how to improve yourself. Now you made a good point with all the map covers. I totally agree. That's actually a great point. And I think you're trying to help the people who are having a tough time educating themselves, because you are like talking them through the way the game works, because I'm sure they also watch regular Halo gameplay, but they themselves cannot recognize these patterns. Why did he push this? Why did he fight this? Why is he not pushing now? Is he freezing? How does a freeze work? Can I blah 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 blah, applying it in game then after knowing that? Like some people don't know how to do that, and they need like to get like maybe more talking and more explanations for that. Like I hate the fact that when I do something, people ask me why I do it. I sound and look like an asshole every time I complain. But when someone tells me why alacrity, for example on Aatrox with lethality, they say why alacrity, I get so pissed off. Not because of the question, but because when I watched players in China who are 10 times better than me, I didn't learn Chinese and ask them why they do that. I just did it. And I just did it and I practiced it. I just trusted their prestige as players that what that is probably really good. I didn't need a mathematical equation to explain to me why I do that. And I don't need to know why he's slow pushing. It's just a good thing to do, so I'm gonna do it as well. And turns out, wow, slow pushing is always good unless you have a reason not to. Damn, turns out that's good. You know? And I think just general advice to League of Legends players, I don't know if it's true, I might be wrong, but I think copying and just getting good habits by copying those habits that good players do, even if you don't know why, is a good way of improving at the game.
I agree to that statement, but it's so hard to try and, let's say, copy a concept when you have no idea of why you would do such a thing.
For example, if you die all the time because your wave state is bad, or you die all the time because you get ganked because your wave is stuck in front of the enemy tower, then maybe you watch a high elo player and you see what does he do with the wave? Oh, he always like just last hits them. He never really because what I do is I just hit the wave and try to get, level 2 and then insta fight. Oh, but the wave is bad now and now I get ganked. Oh, jungle gap, blah, 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 blah.
Here's the thing, Naayil. You're talking from your perspective. There's players that genuinely don't know what's going wrong.
Right, that's what I said, because like that's what Alois is doing good,
Yeah.
He's talking them into them and he's explaining everything.
Helping them understand step by step. And if you watch Alois stream, you'll see like he does a really, really good job of explaining everything to the detail.
Right.
He'll discuss the runes. He'll discuss why you need to back for this item, why you need to buy a pot here, why buying a control with his bad or buying a control with his good. And he goes step by step. And I think that's so good for a lot of new players. Because you need to remember, Naayil, there's players that it's like their first year playing League.
That is true.
And them watching a high elo player, sure, they can learn a few things maybe in terms of combos, but they literally don't know what they're looking at.
They don't know what they're looking at, yeah.
They legit don't know why he's pushing the wave. And they don't know why you're going alacrity. They're legit asking, like, why are you going alacrity? Not to flame you or to question you, but as in they just want to know.
I'm not taking offense to the question. I'm just saying, I'm just asking myself, bro, why are you sitting here and, like, trying to, like, it's, in my opinion, like, is he gonna have a better time if I explain him the synergy between this and that?
Yeah,
for me, I think he would be so much more off if he just did it.
No, but he needs to understand it, because there's people like they need to understand why they're doing it in order to replicate it or in order to actually put it into their gameplay.
I never needed that as a player. I just see, okay, this guy is better than me. All right, I stop doing what I'm doing. I do what he's doing, and I try to make it work.
There's definitely people like that as well. Like there's people like you that have that sort of
and it worked. It's not like it didn't work. For me, it worked out totally fine.
I think it could work for the majority if you constantly replicate what a challenge is going, right? and you understand when he builds this item into this matchup, and you just copy it, you should be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one thing I want to add on to here, which is what I think is the most important part, right? If you question yourself right now, why would you, as a League of Legends player, want coaching, for example, right? Would you say, like the way that I see it, or the way that I try to fill in the coaching, is to speed up their progression curve, which would normally take longer without the coaching. That's kind of my idea. So your progression curve to learning the game now was probably like quite lengthy, right? Ultimately, you're gonna need to play a lot of games. You need to grind a lot of games.
It took about like 2 years until I got good.
Yeah, that's still really quick.
On my one trick on one champion,
guys.
You know, so
I need to pee really quickly. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Continue.
Yeah.
So yeah, my view on this is that it kind of speeds up their progression curve and kind of gives them the thought processes behind certain concepts, which just makes it easier and faster for them to start ingraining these habits and applying it to their own gameplay.
I don't know. I always like just look at myself, and for me that, like, you either understand, like, I feel like League of Legends has a lot of community members and like a lot of players that even if you explain a concept to them, they don't get it. Sure. And if they do get the concept, they never needed the coaching in the first place. You know what I mean? It's like for me, coaching is so, I know coaching works, especially in very low elo it works, but when you go into the detail of the game and you want to be consistent with it, I think it's just something that you either get or you don't get. Because for me, it was just some like for example, wave management. If we talk about wave management, it was just something that just clicked over time by itself without even like trying to educate myself on any content. It just because League of Legends is a high portion of the game is about like you playing versus the computer. The map is the computer, minions are computer, towers are computers, barons, jungle camps, that's all the computer. You can win this game by a long shot without ever fighting anyone. And you either recognize these patterns of the NPC and playing around it the right way, or you don't. And for me, like the way waves behave and like the way I have to play with them, the way jungle camps, blah blah blah, I just noticed that with the more I played, and I just improved by myself.
I agree 100% with what you say, and in that regard, you're mostly self-taught, which is impressive, right? And which was also my progression into the game in general. But I also do think that it took me way longer to get to certain points of structure or habits into the game that would have increased had I gotten some guidance or watched some videos. If I wanted to improve right now, let's say it's something completely new right in my life, right? I wanted to start playing Hearthstone or something. If I start going blind into the game, keep spamming games, I'll eventually improve. But if I, before heading into Hearthstone, watch up some guides or search up some concepts or give me some type of base structure or things to work with, it would probably increase my progression curve. And I feel like you can give tools to certain players that they can just habitually do that will already give them much more structure in the game. For example, one of the things that I always mention is those level up timers, right? I've even coached grandmaster players that do not know the exact timers of like X amount of means that you need.
Master players, 1,000%. There's many, I meet many of them, they don't know that.
And very often, the case with League of Legends players, very often, you kind of have like two type of players. You have like the players that already play for a super long time. They're like stuck in this X elo for like an extended period. They're fine mechanically, especially like if they're like a one trick, but they just have like no structure, no discipline, stuff like this. And then you have like the newer players or like the players that are like super scared, play super safe. But in general case, this is like the biggest portion. And if you give them that structure and that guidance, I feel like so many players just skyrocket. And that even ties into master players too. Once they become aware, like a master player, if you're a master player, you've played this game so much already, right? Master is like what, top 3% in the game,
top
something
1%.
like this. Top 1%, and even they are not aware of very basic things such as level up timers and these type of things, right? So if you ingrain those, if you give lower MMR players the understanding of early game crashes or the basics of jungle tracking or like these level up timers, I feel like it helps them tremendously.
So hypothetical, there is somebody watching this podcast right now at this moment. He's 500 games, Gold 2, 49% win rate. Should he get coaching, yes or no?
If his goal is to improve in League of Legends,
he wants Emerald. He wants Emerald by the grace of God. He wants it. I don't know why he would, but he wants it so badly, and he just can't do it by himself. Should he get coaching, or should he just try to improve himself?
He can try to improve himself, but my view on coaching is through getting coaching, it's going to speed up his progression curve getting towards Emerald. Could he do it by himself? Maybe, but it would probably take longer.
Fair point.
Can I say something then quickly, yeah? So we can all agree here, unless I'm wrong, that most of League is just your mentality towards it. So
100%.
If you want to be improving, it's your mentality that needs to be checked first. I think a lot of the gold players are going to have an ego problem, right? Like, if they truly wanted to, we're all human, right? We're all to some degree smart, right? If we really truly wanted to improve and figure out what we're doing wrong in gold, we'll see it.
Yeah.
But the problem is that they're limiting themselves. They're constantly pointing fingers. It's this person's fault. It's whatever. My champ's bad. Whatever it might be. And so they're literally trying to avoid seeing what the problem is. So my question is, Alois, then, is the coaching necessary to improve the mentality of the person, or is it necessary to fix the fundamental? Like, which one takes more priority? Because I'm thinking if you only have one coaching session, there's only so much you can teach based off of one game. Right? Because every game's different, every matchup's different. The runes, the items could be vastly different today. The next game they play, maybe different champ too. So yeah, that's my question, Alois.
I think coaching, or people getting coaching by default, does give them, like, let's say, that mental boost. I think that's a big thing that also ties in with coaching. It kind of just motivates them, right, to like focus harder and stuff like this. Usually, depending on the person as well, mentality is a part that I talk about in the coaching session. And yes, ego can play a massive role. It can be ego that they feel like they're superior to the environment that they are in, or they have a big tendency to shift, like you say, to other scenarios, be their champion, be their role, be their teammates, and it can also be that they have no confidence, right? That part is also there, that they feel like they can't climb, and they're kind of like an imposter syndrome, like they're
all three of us. I don't even know, but I'm assuming all three of us had that chat message. I win my lane every game,
100%.
but my teammates keep running it down. How can I win? And my honest response is, like, if I was honest, I would say you're lying. That is not the truth. You're not winning every game and then you get ran down. That is just not true, because then you would be climbing if you actually perform consistently every game and you're winning.
Yeah, no, of course, it's full cope.
It is very much cope, and my real answer is, if you're actually winning and your team is, because like League of Legends became more of a team game than it ever used to be, in my opinion, right now. 1v9ing is quite difficult. I think the only role that truly can 1v9 is either jungle or ADC. And ADC takes a long time to 1v9, and jungle, you have to be like kind of funneled into yourself. But long story short, it's a very team-focused game nowadays. And like the fact that you win every single game and you get an inting team every single game makes no sense. And if you tell me, if it is actually the truth, let's say you're that unicorn of a player that wins every game in gold, but his team is running him down, there is no way of winning. Because even if you're a super fit, top laner, if your team is genuinely, if your mid laner is 0-10, your bot lane has 15 deaths, you don't win that. That is true. You don't win that. But it's not the truth. It's not true. Like, there is no way that happens every game. It doesn't.
No. Everybody has these games,
of
right?
course.
Otherwise,
we would all have 100% win rate. You lose in gold as well. I lose in gold. It's normal. But that you say that you can't climb because of that, I don't think so. I disagree.
No, I agree. Yeah.
It is a huge ego problem, and I don't know if you should go with trying to be nice about it and be like, maybe you should try to look at yourself. Even if you have a bad game, look at yourself and try to improve yourself, and maybe you'll, or you can also be like degrading about it. Well, bro, you're gold. You're like, you belong there. You're pretty bad. You cannot be that good if you're in gold still. But you can be like that.
I think it depends on the personality.
It depends on the personality. Yeah.
If he's got a big ego problem, you're gonna be very harsh on his mistakes, right, Alois?
Well, yes. What I always do is I do tell people that they are in the elo they are supposed to be right now, and I tell people to take responsibility because ultimately they're there because of their choices. They cannot control their teammates, they cannot control anybody's emotions but themselves, right? Um, but there is one part, of course, that is true to the past stories. I would say on average 20% of the games would be auto lost, but also 20% of your games are going to be automatically won, and then you have like 60% of games where you can have the impact, right? So I always tell people to focus on that 80% of games that are like won or you can have impact, and don't focus too hard on that 20%, which is a tendency that a lot of players have. And then it's indeed the mindset of telling them to take responsibility and focus on themselves instead of pointing fingers elsewhere permanently. And then with the added structure, because that ties into your question, right? What do you think is more important, mentality or actually playing the game? I would say 60% of League of Legends is the mentality you have heading into the game. If you're playing the game to win, it's kind of already hard. You should play the game genuinely to improve, right? So you're only focused on your own gameplay instead of the eventual outcome. And what I have seen, if people genuinely do this and stick to it, and I do think once you have a coaching session, you get that extra motivational boost. Generally speaking, it helps very well. Yeah. But I do think there is a mix, right? Because ultimately, you can have as good of a mentality as you want, but if you're not a good player, you're just running around aimlessly, then it's going to be hard to climb
But
to.
even then, if you're not a good player, it still ties into mentality, right?
100%.
So, so yeah, like I was saying, is the predominant reason for coaching to fix the person's mentality, or is it just to break down the fundamentals of the game, whatever it might be?
I think it really depends on the student too. I've had people that are so like put in quotation like that, they are genuinely delusional, and I like put them in reality, and that helps for them. But there's also so many people that they're just stuck. They're not really shifting blame anything, and they just need the guidance on how to improve their gameplay, both for short term and then also on like tools to improve on long term that can help them in their gameplay. So I think it really depends on the person.
The reason I'm saying this, Alois, is because there are some people. It's not common, but there are some people that say coaching is a scam. If you want to get
Mm-hmm.
good at the game, just play the game. Naayil, you probably say that,
I
right?
said that before, yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
probably Naayil says that. That sounds like a Naayil take,
Especially
right?
because coaching has become so expensive.
It's very expensive now, right?
Right,
Okay, so
the height of it was when Nice coaching came out for how much was it? 500?
No, it's
300,
350.
It was
400.
350, yeah, like 350 an hour. Like there is no coaching in the world that's worth 350 an hour.
I agree. I agree. Even if you're getting coaching of Faker.
There are psychiatrists talking people off of a ledge for less money. Like there is no way you're gonna pay 350 euro for
Yeah, but
learning
I
how to
mean,
slow push. Like I don't think that's worth it.
I understand it, of course, but for Nice's perspective, I think it's for him
I don't
also a
I
matter
don't
of
blame him at all. He's not
yeah.
pointing a gun at anyone forcing them to pay. If he gets the demand so he can jack up the prices and the demand is still here, make your money, bro. But I wouldn't recommend anyone to go get that. I
No,
think
exactly.
you could get the same value for much like
A
for
lot less.
free. You could do it for free.
But
There's technically
yeah,
free out there, you know.
what I think is super important to understand, Isa, to the claim you're making, right? Or like people would say that coaching is a scam. I think there's a big misconception with coaching, and again, it's kind of like the way that I would just see coaching, and I think you cannot really go around this, is the goal of coaching is to speed up the progression curve that a player would normally have towards their goals. And I think if you're how do you say it, a competent coach, you should be able to do that regardless of what elo the player is. And if you give them the structure and you give them like, and they are actually serious about wanting to climb, then I think it's good because, I mean, you genuinely should save them a lot of time through a coaching session, right? So that's how I see it.
Okay.
Can I
I'm
change
I'm
the
just discussing the mentality aspect to it, Alois, because you have the so let's say you want to fix the person's fundamentals, the mechanics, the combos or whatever, right? They can go on a YouTube video for that, right? The reason if they want to learn combos on Riven, they can find that on
Yeah,
YouTube
but
and
I don't
stream the
coach
video.
combos.
I understand, I understand,
Well,
I
you do
understand. But
though.
if,
You
let's
do.
say fundamentals in terms of wave state and pushing waves, they can watch
Huh?
your stream for like 10 minutes in your early game and they should be able to get the gist of it. What I'm saying is you're not going to be there in every single game.
Yeah,
When they queue for solo queue, you're not going to be there. You're not going to be able to critique games back to back with them.
yeah.
They have to take it upon themselves because the league's so diverse in terms of what you're going to be expecting game to game. You can't go into a game and play it out.
People ask me all the time, what is your game plan? I'm like,
there's no
there
game
is
plan
no
before
game
the
plan. You play the fundamentals, that's the same every game, and you adapt to the things that come at you. And people don't understand that. People pick a champion and they're like, okay, this game I'm gonna do this.
I'm gonna do this. They haven't even seen the enemy champion.
They don't even know. This
game I'm gonna side lane. I'm gonna split push.
And it makes
you don't even know who you're laning against.
Yeah, it makes.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
it makes no sense.
So this is what I'm saying, Alois. Every game is so diverse. There's so many different variations of what to expect, whether it's the runes, the items, the champions, whatever it might be. Now, whether you might get ganked in lane, whether sub roam stop, whether whatever it is, it's so different that I feel like it's difficult to teach what to do in each given scenario
because it's intuition.
Almost infinite.
Yeah,
it's almost infinite, and the person just has to adapt to the given situation. Because the game you coached, let's say, his jungle was on the Void Grubs, and then you said in that game you should have moved to the Void Grubs. There, you had Prio, enemy sub still on bot lane, whatever it might be, right? You'd win the 2v2 against enemy jungle in the top laner. Cool. Now in another game, he's gonna move to Void Grubs, but he actually doesn't win the 2v2 this time, and he has to kind of learn that for himself because you're not gonna be there every game.
He needs to be able to assess situations.
Yes, 100%. He needs to be able to adapt to each game individually, and it's almost impossible.
He needs to know how strong is his jungle champion compared to the other one. He needs to know, is the enemy support there? He needs to know, okay, if you with the enemy top laner move there, who is gonna win? And the only way you can tell is by playing this game and selling your childhood for it. Like you need to you need to sacrifice your youth because you need to play so many games to actually learn the matchups in the lane, first of all, the counterplay in the lane, the itemization in the lane, and then you need to learn the combination of your champion with your teammate's champion against the top lane champion and the other team champion. And you need to know everything in order to make the best possible decision. Like, you just need a shit ton of knowledge in this game that cannot be attained in any other way except for playing thousands of games.
The coaching itself is important to fix the mentality. And I think in that sense, it's amazing. Because some players need a reality check. And some players need a confidence boost. Like you said, Alois, Like they have imposter syndrome. Now, in terms of like fixing each thing individually, I think it's so broad and there's so many variations, it's almost impossible, bro. What do you think, Alois?
Yeah, I mean, you can't teach a player like... So I think one point Naayil made, which is very important, League is a very intuitive-based game. So a lot of decisions you make are subconscious or like are basically decisions from past experiences, right? But so when you look at gameplay of certain players, one thing that you can, for example, do is instead of teaching them new things, you can get them aware of habits that they're doing wrong habitually, right? So let's say a person has no idea how to be able to, has no understanding of when he should hard push or slow push in general, and he's like doing it habitually wrong. And that is because they don't understand like the order on how they decide. They're not looking at the minimap where the next wave is at. So you need to give them that structure to kind of fix their bad habits and give them new good habits. So a coaching is kind of you fix their mentality, but you also make them aware of their bad habits, and then you try to ingrain new good habits and give them that structure. So I think that there's of course more things to that. You're not only teaching them new things, you're also making them aware of the mistakes that they're currently doing. And players, if you look at their gameplay, you'll see certain stuff they're doing that's like, it's like certain habits, right? For example, they're coming back into lane, they're not checking items of their opponents. It can be the most basic things. Or for example, the position you're calling with grubs or the champions. You know, what a shit ton of players don't do is they don't check tab before even moving to that fight, or they're not considering their wave state before moving to the skirmish. So you're giving them those habits, or you're trying to ingrain them the habits of certain, or like the structure that they can follow. So even though if they're in a next scenario, they'll have new good habits. They're checking the items before they go to the skirmish, or they at least are, you know, they are doing things better.
Now, when you discuss habits, Alois, right? When you're discussing habits, do you base this off one game or do you base this off multiple games? So does someone need to buy multiple coaching sessions? Because obviously, in that sense, I think it could be very helpful to the person, right, in terms of improving. But is it possible for one coaching session then?
So I haven't coached in the last 3 months, by the way, to put that into perspective. But what my coaching session usually consists of is I tell the player, so a new student, what I want them to do is I want to focus on laning phase. I don't want to focus on anything else. And I want to deep dive into laning phase because it's the most replicable part out of League of Legends. Out of laning phase, there are so many variables, but in laning phase, it's really easy to actually get like a game plan or a structure heading into the game, right? So the first session is I usually tell them to send in 4 to 5 votes, and then we just go through that vote, and I give them, and we just go through all 4 or 5 of those votes, and through those games you'll definitely spot those habits, or you see you give them new structure.
That's pretty good. So 4 or 5 VODs, and it still costs the price of 1 coaching session.
Yes, because you like out of laning phase, you can definitely go over 4 to 5 laning phases in one VOD, or in one session. Yes.
Okay. That makes sense. That's really nice way of doing coaching then.
Yeah, and then what I do with like, let's say a student that wants more, right? Maybe the second session is we still go over laning phase, and if they want more sessions, then eventually we'll expand and we'll start talking about what you should be doing after laning phase, right? How you're gonna approach side waves, what you want to do in mid to late game. So I've had students that I've worked with for like 6 months in a row, right? But then eventually you kind of go everywhere. But in a general sense, my advice to a first-time student is always doing VOD sessions. Sometimes people want live games. I think it's a waste because live games is something you cannot control, right? But there's some students that just want to do a live game.
I love live game.
And it's out of my control.
Cue him! Cue him! What are you doing?
It's legit for content.
Why you walk into him? You're fucking inting. Like, I don't get it.
Alois, you're right. There's so many students that just want live coaching, and maybe they've seen Nice or whatever. Dude, in terms of improving, it's horrible. It's horrible.
You need luck. The thing is, so if a student is already aware of a lot of concepts, but they're failing to apply it in their game, it can actually help them for you to be live telling them what to do in their game, because it gives them like that added perspective. Like, oh, it like clicks for them, right? But usually I would only do live games with students that I've coached multiple times before, because they're already aware of the things that they should be doing habitually, and then with me guiding in them or kind of directing them in their steps, it becomes more clear for them.
When you say things they should be doing, you mean in terms of macro, right?
Everything, right? Yeah, macro mainly.
In terms of micro or like trade patterns in the lane or spacing, you can't teach.
No, I don't control it. No, exactly, no.
So what do you say at that point? Do you just watch him while he's doing it?
Play more, I guess. He just has to play more, and then
like, do you say? You can't really say, let's say Riven, right? You can't really say, okay, Q in here. By the time you say that, the gap is spaced out and the Q opportunity is gone.
Well, I would give them the intent, right? Let's say, you're gonna get your level up timer on this timer. You should look for the trade, or on this timer you have your item advantage right now. This is where we have to press delete, right? But it will go wrong sometimes, and sometimes it will go right, and then like clicks. Like a really fun example I had is the one time I coached an Iron player. Right? I rarely coach Iron players in general, but one time I coached an Iron player, and he wanted the live game. He was persistent on playing a live game, and he's just switched to top as well. Wanted to play a game of Garen, but at the end of the game, he was 10, 1, and 6, and he had like 9.5 assists per minute, and was still like super interesting to see though. And for him, I mean, obviously, I had no idea what he's doing, but it's funny to see that those players just with guidance can still get those results in that regard.
Fun fact for Alois, I don't know if you know this, or the listeners right now listening, did you know that being a Iron 4 player, or did you know that Iron 4 has a lower player base than Diamond 4 or Diamond or some other Diamond rank?
I know
being an Iron, like there are like, it's more rare to be an Iron 4 player than to be a certain Diamond player. That is a statistic. You can look it up. I swear to God, I checked it on stream.
Yeah, I mean, there's only like 7% of players in Iron in general, right? And like bronze.
In total, yeah. And Iron 4 is like even lower than that. And a Diamond has actually a quite substantial amount. I don't know which one Diamond, but one of the 4 Diamonds has a higher player base than the lowest Iron.
Sounds realistic.
And
yeah,
it's an accomplishment. If you, I genuinely don't know how you can be Iron. I don't know how it's possible, because even the average player isn't Iron, and the average player is really, really bad. But really, really bad is still like what, silver, gold, you know?
I mean, Alois isn't gonna have ego on this, but it's true, bro. It's
bro,
true.
I agree, of course.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna be positive about it.
When I played this game,
people just learn at a lower pace. No, but Iron. Irons and Elo where people like have bad internet and they're disconnecting and reconnecting repeatedly. People are playing with like 15 FPS. So I don't know how it's possible if you have a functioning PC and good internet. I honestly don't think it's possible to
I
be a hard
agree.
stuff
I have no clue. The lowest rank I ever was when I literally had no clue what League of Legends even was remotely was like silver something. That was even that was before bronze was a thing. I never was in bronze. I just started in silver and just kept going up.
Wait, what? You were
Bronze
never...
was always a thing.
Yeah, bronze was always a thing, bro. I started in bronze.
No, I said, did I say bronze? I mean, back when iron wasn't a thing, I meant to say.
Oh, iron.
Okay.
And when I, like, my very first placements, I got silver, and I never dropped from silver to bronze. I just went from silver to now challenger, I guess. But
same. Dude, that was a big deal back in the day, not getting into bronze out of placements, dude.
Bro, getting gold was like my life's... You know what's interesting? We can talk about it as well. Rank up satisfaction. People talk about, oh, I want to climb. I'm like, bro, the higher you climb, the less satisfying it gets. I'm telling you right now, getting diamond in season 9 was way more hype than me getting challenger 2 years later. I swear to God, I got diamond for the first time in season 9 because that's when the Aatrox rework dropped. That's what I started when I started playing ranked. And the second I got diamond, I celebrated like I won $1 million. And then 2 years later, I peaked 1000 LP in season 11, which was I think rank 50, and it was cool, but
it wasn't that diamond rank that you got.
It wasn't that. Yo, let's go!
Yo. Diamond was so good back in the day.
It wasn't screaming while the Nexus explodes. It wasn't any of that. So I'm telling you, anyone that's listening that really wants to, quote unquote, be like us in terms of ranked, you're gonna be miserable, I think. I also am a big fan of that opinion that, I don't know who said that. Somebody said that. I listened to that quote online, that being a good chess player is a very nice thing, and being a master of chess is a sign of a wasted life or something like that.
True.
You know, somebody, I don't know who said that quote, but that was like a quote, something like that, where if you become like the top of the top, then you kind of waste your time. And I think that applies to League of Legends, unless you want it to be a career. I say this many, many times on stream. If it wasn't for my one-trick Aatrox, and if it wasn't for the stream, I would have quit this game in Season 8. Because I used to be like a casual player that maybe plays a couple flexes with my friends, and then we go to CSGO, we play CSGO, then we go to Minecraft server. I was that type of player. I only started grinding ranked because I really enjoyed Aatrox and I thought I could climb with him. And then I started pivoting into my streaming career later on. But like literally the second I hit higher ranks by myself without streaming, if I didn't stream and if people didn't watch, I would have quit the game. And I highly... how do you say it when I like try to like I try to not make it attractive to climb to a high rank. I think up to diamond and maybe master is okay, but I feel like if you keep on going after that and you don't want to be a pro and you don't want to be a streamer, I feel like you're wasting your time. And
I don't see a reason though. Why would you want to try and get challenger but not go pro?
How many challenger players play who are just randoms?
Nah, a lot of them are trying to get challenger or grandmasters.
Well, regardless, bro, there's so many unknown
challenges now. You see, they're like either aspiring to be pro or trying to go pro or trying to become a streamer.
There's plenty of people. There's plenty of people who have no purpose in the game and they're just high rank because they can.
Is that true, Alois?
Yes, of course. Especially, I mean, in Master, absolutely. In Grandmaster, totally. And in Challenger, obviously, it's not that much. But I think even Grandmaster and even like if you go to like 200, 300 LP Master, it's just not worth it in my opinion, unless you want to profit from it.
The one thing that we have to keep in perspective is that I think season 8, season 9, if you were master, you were like top 2000
you
already,
were really
right?
good. Yeah, that was
you were top 1000 in season 8.
Maybe even top 1000. Right now,
it was like top 800 even.
If you're top like 200, 300 LP, you're like top 8,000 or something in perspective.
I think there's 15,000 right now in Master.
Yeah, so I think even then when you play there, I can see you just playing this game as like a hobby or for fun. But if you're a Grandmaster Challenger and you're not doing anything with it, I also think it's a waste of time. Yeah.
Challenger, though, it's a different kind of game, dude. Like, why would you want to pursue Challenger and then just do nothing with it?
Yeah, I
Right.
agree. Yeah.
That's
Like,
just
I don't
my
think
advice.
it's so much headache, it's so much stress, and you really have to be playing the game with the intention of trying your best to improve. Like,
I really try to
it's a headache.
discourage.
Why would
I
you do
really
that? Just
I try to like discourage people from climbing really, really high. I get plenty of messages that say, "Oh, because of your Aatrox, I got to diamond," and obviously to me it's not impressive, but I'm saying like, "Hey, good job, man. I mean, thank you for watching, and I'm glad I helped, even though I didn't try. And good job, well done." But I wouldn't be like, "Yeah, all right, man, let's go masters now." You know, I'm like, I would not say that. I wouldn't, because I think I would do more harm than I would do good, especially if the guy is just some dude who works 10 hours a day and then just plays a bit.
Okay, so can I ask then quickly? This is for Naayil and Alois. If you get a viewer, and I've gotten quite a few of these, yeah, you get a viewer in your stream that asks you, what they should do to basically they want to get into streaming, and they're planning to drop out of, let's say, university or school or whatever it is, and they want to pursue streaming. Would your advice be to pursue it or no?
I would be like, if I can answer first, by the way, I'm sorry, Alois.
No, you go first.
I keep it short and sweet. Try to juggle them both at the same time, and when you see that your labor on the stream has fruits, and if you can see that this is going somewhere potentially, then, and you really don't like whatever you're doing on the side, then you can quit. Quitting cold turkey and then starting something you have no idea if you even like it is a very bad idea, because many people think they want to be a streamer. They want the lifestyle of a streamer, and I don't want to sound like a entitled prick, but they don't want to do the work of being a streamer. Not because it's hard work, but just because they don't like that, and they thought they liked it because, you know, watching these streamers is fun, but then when it actually comes to the marketing behind it and trying to improve yourself as a person to make it more entertaining and improving your discoverability and God knows what else you need to be a successful streamer, people don't like the hassle of that, and they would prefer having a different job where the thing that they do to make money is different. So I would say you do it with the university or whatever it is. If you have a job, you know, that's what most people do. Like, for example, Queso, that gigantic streamer now, he has like 50,000 viewers or whatever. He used to work full time while making thousands of dollars on Twitch.
Damn.
On the side. And he quit his job way too late, by the way. He should have quit way earlier. But when you see that your stream is going up and it works, whatever you're doing, then you can consider stopping. But cold turkey, nah.
No, yeah, I mean, I agree with everything that was said, and I can also speak from my own experience, of course. I quit professional play and kind of went cold turkey into trying to pursue a content creation career, but I already had like a background and a base foundation to go off, and I made the conscious decision to like put away money or like have a buffer, so I at least had like a, let's say, an insurance for like a year to be able to do this. But exactly like you said, if you're able to work or have like some type of insurance or have like a university or anything going on, you should always do that before you go into doing anything else.
Do you live alone?
No. Okay, it's a bit complicated. Right now, I live with both of my brothers in this house, and my stepfather is kind of going in between the Netherlands and Hungary. But this year, or at the start of next year, I do finally want to live on my own, because this room is very small. It's literally my bed right here, and that goes from wall to wall, and there's like my desk here, and there's a door there.
That's a bed?
Yeah, bro. My room is
I thought that was a curtain.
No, this is a curtain, and this is my bed.
It like blends in. It like blends in perfectly.
No, I have it like my bed or my chair is against my bed, bro. It's very limited. It's very limited.
So you have two brothers.
Yes.
Me too. We're also three boys. Are you the middle child?
Yes, I have two brothers.
Bro, me too. I have an older one and a younger one as well.
I also have two sisters.
Oh shit! Never mind.
Yeah,
God damn, you guys are 5? Holy crap! No,
yeah,
that's a lot.
Massive family.
That's good.
Isa, you have a sister, right?
I've got 2 and 1 brother.
No.
God damn, big family.
It's okay. Nice.
So wait, is your brother old or young?
Who? Me or?
Yeah,
Alois?
Isa.
Yeah, he's 31, I think.
What?
Yeah, he's older than me.
Oh, okay. No, because I thought if it was like a 15-year-old, you could maybe like coach him or something, you know.
No.
Take over the family business stream, you know. When you retire, he's gonna, you know, something like that.
That's a good idea, man.
I could do that. I have a smaller brother. My brother is pretty young. My younger brother, so I could, you know. I mean, he's already gaming like a maniac, so.
So your little brother comes up to you, Naayil, and he says, "Listen, Naayil, I'm not doing well in school. I'm done. I don't want to do anything in terms of education. The only future I see for myself is streaming. I'm passionate about streaming. What would your advice to him be?"
Finish high school at least.
He says no.
Yeah, finish high school, guys.
No, he has to. I don't even think he can drop out of high school. He has. I think in Austria you have to finish that thing. You just have to keep on repeat. If you really flunk, you just have to keep repeating the years until you're like 18 or something.
Yeah, you have to be 18 to drop out. And
right. Yeah, like if you're below 18 in Austria, there is like a I don't know. I know that German word. What is the English? Like it's mandatory to send your kids to school. You have to, if they're underage. If they're 18, they can leave. But no, my brother would never do that. But he's a pure gamer. He plays a bunch of Valorant, Fortnite, and whatever. He also knows about League. He also knows what Aatrox is. He knows my stream and all of that. And he's very small, but yeah, we teach. He's way better than when I was a kid. Because when I was his age, when I was like 12 or 13 or whatever, I didn't have the technology that he has now. This guy has a gaming PC, 3060 Ti and all of that, Razer keyboard. Bro, when I was 13, even if I had the money for that, there wasn't anything to do. The first time I played League was on a MacBook Air.
Okay, no.
That son of a that son of a bitch was burning the second the loading screen started. Like, and it sounded like a helicopter. Like, it was genuinely unplayable. Like, that was my first League experience, and he has a way better foundation. And I think in general, kids are gonna get better and better and better in video games. Like, you could really tell with the Fortnite. Remember when Ninja was super good, and now Ninja looks like a noob compared to a 12-year-old? Like, that's basically what's happening, and I think it's gonna happen in League as well with the newer generations coming up. And yeah, man, gaming and stuff, it's crazy. People just keep on getting better. It just never stops. I don't know. Can I change the topic real quick? I saw something on Alois Twitter that I want to quickly talk about.
Yeah.
Since we're talking about equipment and gaming, you guys can see it, but I'm showing it right now on the podcast. I'm having a picture right now turned up of Alois standing next to I think it's his desk, with a absolute behemoth of a monitor. Is that your monitor, Alois?
No. It's a sponsored monitor, bro.
That was sponsored, but you don't use that, do you?
No, I would have to learn to use a monitor like that. The monitor is unironically insane.
God,
it's like a television
damn.
Almost, but it's really hard to try. Like, you couldn't play full screen on it.
Bro,
when I played League,
like, you guys can see it, but
bro,
like,
you'd have to turn your head to look at the map and then turn back to continue the game.
Bro, the picture is like he's Riven standing in the middle of top lane, and he can see the Baron pit.
Yeah, I can see enemy jungle farm his golems as well.
You can see
How's that okay? How's that? Wouldn't that be cheating though?
Bro, this is like a 20, like a 35 in, or I don't know how many inches that is because it's very narrow, but it's so broad. This is like, I don't know how many inches, like 50 inches? I don't know even what that is. It's huge. And could you play League on that?
There was somebody that had the same monitor, and then they had like a tiny monitor underneath it, which showed the minimap, and like the things above it. So then you don't have to turn your head to look at the minimap.
How do you even make that happen? How can you make it?
But dude, Alois, isn't this kind of cheating though?
I don't. The thing is, I played on it, right? And what I did is I just had my OBS at the right, my chat like here and stuff at the left, and I just had League in a normal size in the center. Playing on full screen, I think if you learn to use it, it would probably give you benefits, but you'd really have to get used to it. Like, it's so different.
I just think it looks funny as fuck.
Dude, that is insane. You can see the void grubs from mid lane almost.
Dude, if you're standing in the center of mid lane, you can see access to like almost both blue buffs.
That is
exactly like that.
Insane, dude.
That is crazy. If you have a watt there, you're not missing anything. Like,
I didn't even know that you could, like, League allowed this.
No, I didn't know either. It was a surprise to me as well.
Very weird. It does look like
I thought it was always like capped at a certain, I don't know, like 1080p frame. I didn't know you could like widen it like this.
Yeah, you can. It's crazy.
Damn.
Yeah, man. I don't know. Did we miss anything? Do we have anything else going
Alois,
on?
is there anything specifically you want to talk about or ask us or anything? You want to ask Naayil why he's such an asshole?
Shut up, man. What do you mean? I'm a nice guy.
I don't know.
We had a great time. We had a great time in Korea. By the way, Issa, since I'm the asshole, I'm just telling. Alois is a pretty big guy. He's slightly short. He's slightly shorter than me, which means he's insanely bigger than you. Like,
oh, come on, bro.
He's about like twice your size.
Come on.
I saw him IRL. You didn't see him, but like, you would look up. You would like glance at his majesty. But you know what's even crazier? Since we talked about Korea, Zinerias.
Bro, that guy's a monster.
Zinerias is genuinely, if me and Alois stood next to each other and were like 10 centimeters taller, that's Zinerias. I don't know what they gave him when he was a baby, but that guy, he's a Master Yi player, but he looks like a absolute beast.
I've seen scenarios, dude. Like, not in person, but I've seen pictures. He
Bro,
looks like the blue buff. Like, if the blue buff walking around, no, but like in a good way. Like, he's just a monster, bro.
He's the real life version of a teddy bear.
Yeah,
yeah. I'm sure
massive.
He's a really nice guy.
Absolutely.
I'm sure he's a really nice guy, but you get what I'm saying. Like, he's just a beast.
And it's also, bro, seeing these streamers in real life was so funny. I saw everyone. I saw Midbeast, Yamato's Dev, Dantes. Like, the size differences in us was so... Because, like, for example, TF Blade was tiny, right?
Okay, Naayil, bro. Stop making fun of
but you don't know, but I'm not saying it. Like, we don't know that. I've watched TF Blade when I was 16. You know?
Same.
Like, I've watched him when I didn't even think about streaming. And I've never really noticed how he was. Same thing with Midbeast. Did you guys know that Midbeast is like 37 or something like that?
Come on, bro. There's no way.
He's 32, I think, or something like that. He's like,
Really?
Yeah, I didn't even know. I thought it was like, 24, 25? He's like, no, mate, I'm 30 or something like that. You know, his Australian accent. Like, when you meet
to do the accent too.
He's Australian. Like, when you meet these people in real life, you get like a reality check, you know? That they're actually just humans. It sounds stupid, but they are. When you see these guys on the screen, you don't really see them as humans, kind of, almost. Not in a bad way.
They're just more like personality.
They're like like you're watching an anime. You know, like you think they don't really exist like that, like you're watching it. But then you meet them, you meet Alois. Even when I met you, Issa, you know, like before we met, you were like, oh, okay, that's the character. I mean, yeah, he's a guy, but there isn't this. Like, online, even like when you talk to people, it isn't that personal, even though technically it is, but it isn't. So when you meet them in real life, then you see, wow, okay, he's tall, or he's short, or he's big, or he's skinny. And like you actually interact with them, like it brings a whole nother dimension to the whole thing. That's why I said earlier, I don't believe in online friendships. Like, I don't have, you know, like I don't believe in, oh, I met him on Discord. Oh, he's my best friend. I don't believe in that. Because you don't know what people are like in real life. So, yeah, Korea was a nice time. I would love to go again.
Same. I mean, talk about it more. I'd love to like see what would be possible if like a lot of other streamers can go again. But I have one question that come up to mind. Do you guys see streaming kind of as a job or more as like a lifestyle?
Lifestyle for me. It's not a job to me at all.
When you say lifestyle, what do you mean lifestyle?
As in, I feel like for me, it's very hard to find a work-life balance. I'm constantly busy thinking about streaming, making videos, kind of things that I want to improve, things that I want to do. I feel like I'm constantly busy with it, and it's kind of hard for me to find a balance between work and like normal life, especially how it's been for me last year.
Maybe because you were like desperately trying to go to the stream. I think it has like the ups and downs. So there might be a month where it's more like work and less of a lifestyle. It's like more so I just need to get this over done with. And then there's other months or days, weeks where it's like the career trip, and you're just thinking about, okay, content. How am I going to get this? How would this kind of like gameplay work on YouTube or whatever it might be? Then it becomes a lifestyle. I think it varies. Maybe it varies person to person as well. Certain months it's a lifestyle. Certain months it's work, I'd say.
For me, it's genuinely part of my life. Like, I genuinely stream, like, complete, like my whole streaming thing is pure impulsiveness. If I don't feel like streaming today, I don't stream. If I feel like streaming, I stream. Between 5 hours to God knows how many hours. Maybe 12, maybe 5, maybe 8, maybe 6. The happy medium is about 6 or 7. But I genuinely stream because I want to. And it's part of my life. And if I don't feel like it, I don't, and I just lay down and go to sleep. Or if I wanna go out and eat, I go out and eat. Like I do literally, like for me, maybe I'm just lucky, but the way I live my life is that everything I do it and I enjoy while I do it, and I do it because I do it from my free will. And if I didn't get paid for it, okay, well, that's a bad way of saying it, but like I don't know how to say it, but like it is part of my life. I do have to say though, my private life and my social life is very low. I have not a lot of friends. I do have friends, but I don't really do much with my life. I still have a very good relationship with my parents, and I talk to my family a lot. But in terms of like, for example, women and stuff like that, I don't really pursue anything like that in my private life. Or I don't go party. I don't do any of that. Although if I wanted to, I would. So I guess it's kind of me as a person. But streaming is just literally like breathing to me. I just do it because I have to.
I want to make it clear. I love streaming. So when I say there are certain months where it's like work, it's work because like it pays. Do you see what I mean? Like you can still enjoy your work. It's not a hassle for me. I love streaming. There's never a day that goes by where I'm not thinking about streaming at least a few times throughout the day. Like I love streaming and I look forward to streaming always. If I take a day off, even if I needed it, let's say a mental reset or whatever, I need to do something that day, I'm always excited to stream the next day, every single time.
Yeah.
But how do you manage your like social life as well, Alois? Because it does take a lot out of you, whether it's to stream and then you have to record something for YouTube, or you have to, whatever it might be, look for shorts, clips, whatever.
Yeah, for me, it was very hard to balance it last year because I went into this with the mindset of like your goal is always to grow, right? And to like grow as a content creator, grow your audience, get more reach. So for me, like my day-to-day life last year was like I would wake up and I would either record a video or like be busy with something, answering some DMs or trying to like structure some content. Or what was very often the other cases, I would do a coaching and then I would like try to exercise, come back, eat, stream, and after stream maybe like a coaching again, and then go back to bed. And that was kind of like my day-to-day life. So it was just filled with work. And I absolutely loved it. But what happened for me is at the start of this December, I felt kind of overworked, which is a very new thing for me as well. But it was like I was curious to like how your day-to-day life kind of looks, because I'm like doing a lot of coaching outside of streaming hours, and I try to like make guides or recordings for YouTube. So for me, it was kind of hard to balance it. So I've completely stopped coaching for the time being to just focus more on making content, because I also noticed that my joy was going down because everything more so felt like a task. And I permanently had like deadlines in a day, right? Because if you schedule coaching, you have a deadline, but you also want like a certain amount of hours.
I felt like that in Korea. At the end of the Korea trip, the last 2 weeks in Korea, I really felt that. Like because we streamed and played so much in Korea that like my mentality just completely went down the drain, and I didn't stream for multiple days in Korea, just because I wasn't feeling good about it, and I was just pretty burnt out and pissed off all the time. And I played when I shouldn't have played, but I had to play because my time in Korea was limited. You know what I mean? So I did really feel that in the end of the Korea trip. So I know exactly what you mean. When you're in a position where you kind of have to work, like even like obviously we all have to stream, but when there is like a pressure reason of why you do it, because when you have an established community and you're somewhat stable as a content creator financially and like even non-financially, just by the way what you're doing, then you don't have that much of a internal pressure of doing it. Like you can be like, if I don't stream today, yeah, whatever. No, it's gonna be alright. It's gonna be alright. I'll stream extra long the next couple days, then it's fine. But yeah, when you have like nothing to lose and you're growing and you have pressure because you quit school or whatever it is that you do, then the fear of burning out, or not the fear, the probability of burning out definitely goes up.
Yeah,
no,
and then
it's true. Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, and then
I was just
one
gonna
other.
say,
Oh, yeah,
sorry, Alois, bro.
no, you
Go on,
go,
Alois.
bro.
Go on,
I
go on.
interrupted you. No, you go now.
I was just gonna say, I was just following Nail's point. I think that is a big concern for a lot of streamers. It's the burning out part, and a lot of people don't even know when they're burning out until after. They look at it in hindsight, and they say,
when
okay,
I was in
burning out.
Korea losing my mind, everyone said I was burning out. You said I said, like, no, what are you talking about? No, these players are trash. These players. Yeah, and now in hindsight, absolutely. Yeah, I was done. I was done with the server. I was just done.
That's the worst thing about burning out, and that's what's important about having a balanced life and also just having a day off. People are like I rarely have a day off. I'll be honest with you. I have a day off like once every 10 days maybe, but that just suits me. I'm okay with that. I'm fine with that. But yeah, a lot of people have the idea of, okay, I don't want to take a day off because I'm on the grind. It's like, okay, but like if you're performing at, let's say, you start deteriorating over time if you have no breaks. So if you're performing at like 75% of what you usually perform at, gameplay wise and also entertainment wise, how clever you are, how witty you are when you're talking to chat, when you're doing educational stream like Alois, whatever it is, then it in the long term is actually bad for you.
Yeah.
So you're better off just taking that day off. No one's gonna forget you in 24 hours, bro. And then coming back at 100%, and then when it starts to dip again, but you just need to find that balance of like what's the perfect time to just take a day off so I'm so I'm never burning out and I'm constantly like alert, I'm witty, I'm clever, and I'm focused. It's hard. That's the only hard bit.
I'm a big fan of the grind set and all of that shit, but saturation is a thing, even in streaming. There can like if you take a break and you had a great stream before that break, you create a scarcity. Because if you had a great fucking stream, very entertaining, very good, and if you streamed again, but then the next day you wouldn't be that good, it would have been just better if you took the day off.
True.
The people who joined that crazy fun stream had to watch other streamers who they think aren't as funny, and they are looking for you, but you're not live, and you're gonna be in the back of their head. So the next time they see your notification, they have an even better reason to go watch you, and you will have that social battery filled up again to deliver the same or even better or similar quality in that you did before. So yes, grinding is important, especially at the beginning. I think you should grind as much as possible to get your name out there. But in order to, once you found something that works for you, it's about all like tweaking the quality and the small things. And you always try to be on point on stream. Yeah. And I think scarcity, for example, like FOMO, fear of missing out. That is also a thing with streamers where like, oh, well, Naayil streams today. I don't care. He's going to be live tomorrow anyways. You know what I mean? Like when you see someone live, you're going to be like, oh, nice, I'm going to watch him because he only streams for 4 hours and he might not stream. He might not stream tomorrow. Okay, I'm going to watch that because he's actually good. Now, if you're uninteresting to watch and then no one cares. But I'm saying like once you establish yourself, you can actually play around with that marketing. And you need to like have very good feeling for your audience and also for your own well-being so you can perform as an entertainer and also as a player, like it all goes together in a big package, and that's important.
Yeah. So I think what's really important here, what you said as well, is that sometimes streaming less but more quality can actually just be better.
Absolutely.
Than streaming like
that's
6-7 hours.
That's the story of Kesha's success. Kesha was I'm not being toxic. Kesha was a nobody for years and years on end, and he used to stream like every day for 6 hours. And no offense, he would maybe max out 150 viewers for years, like forever. And then when he started doing his Kesha thing, he started streaming way less. He barely streams nowadays, and like his streams are only like 4 to 5 hours, quote unquote.
I think it's like 3 hours.
Or even less, quote unquote less. But it's 100 times more successful because he knows what he has to do in those 4 hours to make people come and watch. And it's not possible for him to do that every single day for 10 hours. It's just not possible. But he found his thing, and you just can't deliver that quality and that thing that people like. Just spam it. You can't do it. And people, it helped him out. Look at his career. It's amazing.
No, God bless Kesha. I remember me and Kesha started streaming at roughly the same time, dude. When we were at like 15 viewers, we used to raid each other back and forth.
Yeah.
And then we started climbing to like 20 viewers, and we started raiding each other back and forth. And we done this all the way until like 100 viewers.
You and me met when we were like 80 viewers. You were 80, I was like 40.
Really?
Yeah. I remember I rated you where you had like 90 viewers and I rated you for 40 viewers and then you jumped to 150 and then you saw my name and you're like, Naayil? I remember that clip. I will never forget that. That is exactly the first time I interacted with Spearshot. First time was when I rated you, and because I remembered your name from Solo Queue, and I rated you, and you said it. Thank you. Naayil, you're in my games. You literally said, Naayil, you're in my games, or I'm in your games, depending who's more savage. I will never forget that quote. I don't know why I remember that, but that was your quote. You literally said...
Bro, that sounds like something I'd say.
You said, you're in my games, or I'm in your games, depending who's more savage. Thank you for the raid. Thank you for the raid, brother. And
That's such a dumb thing to say.
That was the first thing you said, and that was 3 years ago. So...
Yeah, how long have you been streaming for Spear?
4.5 years now, I think.
Yeah, he's been streaming a bit longer
Slightly
than me.
under 4.5 years. The thing is, my first 3 years or 2.5 years, my first 2.5 years of streaming, I was at uni. So I would stream maybe 4 hours a day. Oh, no, my first year of streaming, I was actually working at a warehouse. And I'd wake up at 5 a.m. every day. I'd go to work. I'd have to be there at 6. And it was like really hard labor, dude. Like crazy hard labor. I'll go into the story another time, but it was really hard labor.
You already told it last episode.
So forget it. But
the whole warehouse thing with the train station, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I'd come home. I'd come home at maybe 3:30. I'd get home. I'd power nap for like an hour because I'd be tired, and then I'd stream for like 4 hours, 3 hours. That was my first year, and then the next year and a half, it was more like I was doing uni, I was busy, and I'd stream maybe 4 hours, 5 hours max. And then the last 2 years, I've streamed for as long as I wanted to.
Very nice, very impressive too. Well done, man.
Well, what did I do?
No, I think it's very impressive that you're
successful.
Like full-time working and streaming at the same time, and then doing uni and balancing streaming and building your career through that. Very impressive.
Yeah, I look like a spoiled brat compared to you guys. Like, I was in school, just a loser, just going to school every day, and then just after school just goes into streaming. Just no risk at all for me. I was really very lucky. Isa over here having slave wages. You dropped out of high school, you know, having like risky decisions in your life. Me, I was just chilling the entire time. So I had a very, for a streamer, I had a very comfortable upbringing, you know? So I'm very privileged about that. Yeah, man, life is good. Life is good, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
Anything else you guys want to say? We're at 2 hours, by the way. I told you, Alois, in private. Yeah, it's gonna be an hour to an hour 30. I don't want to take too much of your time.
That's how he reels you in, Alois.
We are currently on 2 hours and 2 minutes. So, you guys got anything else? I'm pretty much finished.
I'm Mr. Fundamentals. I've asked Alois everything I wanted to ask.
No, me too. I really enjoyed the insights and the talk a lot. So, I'm
Tell
also,
the people. You know, the guest first. Tell the people where they can find you. Everything. Plug yourself. This is your time.
Yeah, I mean, I stream 5-6 days a week on Twitch over at Twitch TV that AloisNL, and then I make daily YouTube videos as well. That's pretty much it. So I just also stream like Isa and Naayil, and then I also make daily YouTube videos where I center my gameplay around education. So that's
if you guys don't already know who this guy is, go follow him, check him out. He's got some good content for you.
He'll change your life.
He'll change your life, honestly. Like, he changed my life, honestly. So
thank you, guys.
Yeah, guys, thank you guys for watching this episode. Please like, comment, subscribe, share. Tell us who you want to see next as a guest. Next week is most likely gonna be a different guest. Guess who it's gonna be. We technically already know who it is. It's not confirmed, but you guys can guess in the comments who's going to be the next guest and give suggestions who we should have on in the future. Go follow Spearshot, aka Isa, twitch.tv/Isa. Go follow him on Twitch, YouTube. Go follow us. Follow us everywhere, whatever. Don't follow us home. Please don't stalk us. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I hope you guys have a nice day.
Take care, guys.
Bye-bye.